You will hear today that President Trump's White House counsel believed that the Vice President did exactly the right thing on January 6th, as did others in the White House, as did Fox News host Sean Hannity.
In fact, there was a risk that the lawyers in the White House counsel's office would resign. For example, Fox News host Sean Hannity expressed concern that the entire White House counsel's office could quit. As you can see from these texts, Mr. Hannity wrote to White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows that, quote, "We can't lose the entire White House counsel's office. I do not see January 6th happening the way he is being told." A few days later, on January 5th, Mr. Hannity wrote to Mr. Meadows that, quote, "I'm very worried the next 48 hours. Pence pressure, White House counsel will leave." While Sean Hannity was apparently very concerned about the possibility that the White House counsel would resign in protest of the president's effort to force the vice president to violate the Constitution, some others close to the president were more dismissive of the White House counsel's position.
I thought Jacob's question was really the right one. You know, during this rally speech, I was doing that coverage as well and said that I disagreed with the president. I disagreed that the vice president has this authority, and I thought that Vice President Pence was doing the right thing. The question is going to be how the committee ties that dispute to an actual criminal conspiracy, which is what they said they are building towards.
That Eastman thought the courts wouldn't take this up. And Jacob said, well, if the courts don't take it up, then maybe it would be decided in the streets. And we kind of saw that on January the 6th.
When does a frivolous legal theory become so frivolous that you impute to the people who were positing the theory criminal intent? In other words, they weren't believing a frivolous legal theory in good faith. They had actually crossed the line into fraud because they knew that what they were positing was total nonsense. And I think that's a very tough case to make. You know,
I think this is also the story of the political destruction of what was a good friendship and a pretty good partnership between President Trump and Mike Pence.
Their way back into the hearing room. And this is the potential threat against Mike Pence. President Trump has denied it, but people have suggested that when supporters were saying, hang Pence, Trump said allegedly maybe our supporters have the right idea, adding Mr. Pence might deserve it. Again, it was submitted to the committee. There is at one point, he says, there were many cowards on the battlefield on January the 6th. The vice president, Sandra, was not among them.
Well, I was very surprised that the chairman decided to end with reference to, with Judge Luttig towards the 2024 election. It really did raise this issue again of not having a bipartisan committee. I thought.
So, you know, for example, would the states really have gone along with this even if these guys were crazy enough to send it back to the states? There's no way that would have happened. 60 courts had no problem telling President Trump that his legal claims were frivolous. When he pressured the Justice Department, the remaining Justice Department officials to go along with him, they basically told him to pound sand. The military would never in a million years have joined on to this, but you would have needed the military to have the kind of coup that they're talking about.
And it sounds like the mission here would be to find criminal activity on the part of the former president, and it doesn't look like they've established that either. So, you know, I'm not sure quite what the goal is here in terms of changing what might happen in 2024.
It requires a nexus between Trump and these violent acts. We haven't seen that yet. Maybe it's coming, but if they're really serious about building a criminal case, there's even a story out that they want to do a referral to the Department of Justice. They're going to need a far more concrete and direct connection to make that case.